Feminine Psychology by Horney. Horney devoted herself to school, believing that if I couldn't be beautiful, I decided I would be smart. She began medical school in 1906 and married a law student named Oscar Horney in 1909. The death of her mother and then brother in 1911 and 1923 were extremely difficult for Horney. In 1926, Horney left her husband and in 1932 moved to the United States with her three daughters. It was here that she became friends with other prominent intellectuals and developed her theories on psychology.
Karen Horney was the first woman to present a paper in feminine psychology at an international meeting. She pioneered and developed a feminine psychology that provided a new way of thinking about women. The paper she wrote between 1922 and 1937 compiled to form a volume titled Feminine Psychology, which was an important place in the history of psychology. It is said that the task of a woman is to work out fuller understanding for specifically female trends and attitudes in life. Her book, entitled The Problem of Feminine Masochism, proved that culture and society encouraged women to be independent on men for love, prestige, wealth, care, and protection. She pointed out that overemphasis on pleasing men and the overvaluation of men in love. She found out that women are to be beautiful and charming according to society. Also, women gain value only through their husbands, children, and family. Her book, The Distrust Between Sexes, compared the husband and wife relationship to a parent and child relationship. 6 of her other papers were based on marriage problems, while maternal conflict shed a new light on the problems associated with raising adolescents.
Feminine Psychology. Feminine psychology is an area of psychology that focuses on the political, economic, and social issues that pervasively confront women. Horney, 1967. This can be interpreted as a counteraction to male-dominated theories, an example being Sigmund Freud's perspective of female sexuality. One of feminine psychology's pioneers, Karen Horney, asserted that male realities cannot describe female psychology or define women's gender by virtue of the lack of experiences of voices from girls and women. Militic, 2002.
Feminist psychology studies the ways which gender power imbalance affect both mental health and the development of psychological theories. Horney strongly advocated that differences between men and women are manifest from differences in culture and socialization rather than biology. Horney disagreed with Freud's focus on aggression, power, and sex. She argued that the Oedipal complex had little to do with these types and was instead a product of insecurity in the relationship between parent and child.
Horney formulated a different concept from Freud's. She formulates that females have adapted to males' wishes and have thought to find in them their true nature. The need to ignore the existence of the vagina seems to be related to a primitive ancestral fear that the male has of the female. Castration anxieties in males could be a defense against the feminine genitals, the mothers. For Horney, this fear would not represent castration anxiety, but a reaction to a threat to his self-esteem. It is suggested that the issue of self-realization is not masculine or feminine, but human.
Feminine psychology was able to help people develop psychology without stereotyping on what women was able to do and what men can do. It was able to bring light on the gender inequality present everywhere. This idea brought me knowledge of understanding of women's individuality as equal despite of its gender. Differences between men and women were only set by societal standards. Most of us still think that men hold more power. A lot of political or organizational leaders were men. We cannot deny that stereotyping still exists despite knowing that it's not that way. Feminine psychology is now rising. A lot of laws were created to protect women and their vulnerability. It made us look weaker to them, and yet those whose abused are now able to speak up. We can now share what we feel in this world without them hindering because we know now that we have the right to do it. Gender equality are taught to kids to raise awareness.